The transport ship dropped Hana at Station Vertex 7 on a Tuesday morning. She carried one small bag and wore the plain gray uniform all new cadets received. Around her, aliens of every shape and size moved through the docking bay. Some had 6 legs, others floated without touching the ground. A few looked almost human, but their eyes were wrong colors or their skin had patterns that shifted like oil on water. Hana walked through the crowd and nobody noticed her. She was small even for a human. Her black hair was tied back in a simple knot. Her face showed nothing as she watched the other cadets laughing and showing off their weapons. One alien cadet had arms that ended in blade-like bones. Another carried a gun that hummed with blue energy. A third wore armor that seemed to be part of its body. She had nothing but her hands. The orientation hall was massive. 3,000 cadets filled the space and their voices created a noise like thunder. Hana found a spot near the back and stood quietly. A hologram appeared at the front of the hall. It showed a creature that looked like a bear made of rocks. This was Commander Thale, one of the instructors. "Welcome to the Galactic Combat Institute," Thal's voice boomed. "You are the best warriors from your worlds. Here you will become something more. Here you will learn to fight alongside species you have never met. Here you will prove your worth," the cadets cheered. Hana remained silent. "Today each of you will demonstrate your combat style," Thal continued. "Show us what makes you dangerous. Show us why your people sent you here." One by one, cadets stepped forward. A Vrexian cadet, tall as a tree and covered in armor-like skin, demonstrated his strength by crushing a metal block with his bare hands. A Quellan, snake-like and quick, moved so fast she became a blur. An insect-like creature shot acid from its mouth that melted through a practice dummy. Then it was Hana's turn. She walked to the center of the arena. The floor was smooth and gray. Lights shone down from above. 3,000 pairs of alien eyes watched her. She stood in the center and waited. "Cadet," Thal's voice came from the speakers. "Display your weapon." "I have none," Hana said. Her voice was quiet but clear. Silence fell over the hall. Then someone laughed. Then another. Soon hundreds of cadets were laughing. The sound echoed off the walls. "No weapon?" Thal sounded confused. "No energy blade? No projectile system? No biological enhancement?" "No, sir," Hana said. "I fight with my hands." The laughter grew louder. A Quellan instructor named Issa slithered forward. "Human, do you understand where you are? This is not a gymnasium on your primitive world. In real combat, touching an enemy with bare flesh is suicide. You will be cut down before you get close," another cadet shouted from the crowd. "Maybe humans do not know what fighting is." More laughter. Hana stood still and said nothing. Her face remained calm, but inside something burned. She thought of her grandmother back on Earth. The old woman had held Hana's hands before she left for the stars. "Your strength is not in what you carry," her grandmother had said. "It is in what carries you." Hana had not understood those words then. She still did not understand them now. But she trusted them. A human proctor named Doyen stepped forward. He looked embarrassed. "Cadet Hana, perhaps you should reconsider. The Institute provides standard weapons for all cadets." "There is no shame in—" "I will fight as I am," Hana interrupted. Thal made a sound like rocks grinding together. "Very well. If you insist on this foolishness, you will prove yourself now." Cadet Brekka stepped forward. A Vrexian cadet walked into the arena. He was young, but still twice Hana's height. His skin looked like stone, gray and hard. His arms were thick as tree trunks. He looked down at Hana and shook his head. "I do not wish to kill you, human," he said. "Surrender now. Begin," Thal commanded. Brekka moved fast for someone so large. His fist came down like a hammer. Hana dodged to the side, and the fist hit the floor with a sound like thunder. Cracks spread from the impact point. The crowd gasped. Hana moved in and struck Brekka's arm with her palm. It was like hitting a wall. Pain shot through her hand. Brekka did not even flinch. He swung his other arm in a wide arc. The blow caught Hana in the side and sent her flying across the arena. She hit the ground hard. Her ribs screamed with pain. Blood filled her mouth. The crowd's laughter returned, mixed with jeers and mocking calls. "Get up and surrender, human," someone yelled. "She cannot even hurt him." Pathetic. Hana pushed herself to her hands and knees. Blood dripped from her split lip onto the gray floor. Everything hurt. Brekka was walking toward her slowly, ready to finish this. Then something strange happened. Hana's hand pressed flat against the floor, and she felt something. A vibration. so faint she almost missed it, like a heartbeat from far away, like a voice calling through deep water. Her breathing slowed, her eyes widened. For just one moment she was not on Station Vertex 7 anymore. She was standing on Earth. She could feel grass under her feet. She could smell rain. She could hear her grandmother's voice saying words in Korean that she did not remember learning. The sensation passed in a second. But when Hana stood up, something had changed. She looked at Brekka differently now. She could see the small gaps in his armor. She could feel the weight of his steps through the floor. She could sense where his balance was weak. She smiled. Blood stained her teeth red. What? Brekka stopped, confused by her expression. Hana moved. This time she was faster. Much faster. Brekka swung at her, but she was not there. She flowed around his arm like water. Her palm struck the inside of his elbow where two armor plates met. The crack was loud and sharp. Brekka roared in pain. He tried to grab her with his other hand, but Hana was already moving. She struck his knee with her knuckles. Another crack. Brekka fell to one knee, confused and hurt. Hana stepped to his side and placed her palm against the back of his neck, right where his skull met his spine. She did not hit hard. She simply pushed with her whole body weight, focusing everything into that one point. Brekka's eyes rolled back. He collapsed forward and lay still on the arena floor. The hall was completely silent. Hana stood over the fallen Vrexian, breathing hard. Blood still ran from her lip. Her side hurt where Brekka had hit her. But she was standing and he was not. Commander Thal's eyes narrowed as he looked down at her from his platform. For a long moment nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then Thal's voice boomed across the arena. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. The other instructors began talking among themselves in urgent whispers. Doyen stared at Hana with his mouth open. The alien cadets looked at each other in confusion. Hana walked out of the arena on shaking legs. Her whole body hurt, but she kept her back straight. As she passed through the crowd, the cadets moved out of her way. Nobody laughed now. That night, alone in her small room, Hana looked at her hands. They were bruised and swollen, but they were still just hands. Just flesh and bone, nothing special. So why, when she closed her eyes, could she still feel that distant heartbeat? Why could she still hear those whispers in a language older than words? She fell asleep with her palm pressed against the cold metal wall, searching for something she could not name. Commander Thal called Hana to his office the next morning. She walked through the station's corridors, feeling the eyes of other cadets on her. Some looked at her with respect now. Others looked afraid. Most just looked confused. Thal's office was small and warm. Rocks covered one wall, different colors and types from many worlds. Thal sat behind a desk made of stone. He looked at Hana for a long time before speaking. I have taught combat for 70 years, Thal said. I have trained warriors from 400 species. What you did yesterday should not be possible. Hana said nothing. She did not know what to say. Tell me, cadet, did you feel anything strange during the fight? Hana thought about lying, but something in Thal's eyes made her tell the truth. Yes, sir. I felt a vibration through the floor, like a heartbeat from very far away. Thal leaned forward. His stone-like face could not smile, but his eyes changed. In 5,000 years of galactic history, only 7 species have developed what we call resonance combat. The ability to feel and manipulate gravity and force without technology. Your species was never on that list. I do not understand, Hana said. Thal stood and walked to a hologram projector. Images appeared in the air. Planets of different sizes. Most species in the galaxy evolved on low-gravity worlds, he explained. My people come from a planet with gravity only half of Earth's. The Quellans evolved in water with almost no gravity at all. The Vrexians have strong bodies, but their homeworld's gravity is weak. He pulled up an image of Earth. The blue and green planet hung in the air between them. Earth is heavy, Thal continued. Your planet's gravity is crushing by galactic standards. Humans evolved under constant pressure. Every movement you make, every step you take, your muscles work against a force that would cripple most species. Your bones are dense. Your hearts are strong. Your whole body is built to fight gravity every second of every day. Hana stared at the image of her homeworld. She had never thought about it that way. But you are different even from other humans, Thal said. Somehow you are connecting to your planet's gravitational field. Even across 60 light-years of space you can feel Earth, and Earth is answering. That is impossible, Hana whispered. Yes, Thal agreed. It should be. But you did it anyway. Over the next few weeks, Thal trained Hana in private. The sessions were exhausting. He taught her to quiet her mind and feel the subtle pulls and pushes in the world around her. Where mass concentrated, where force wanted to flow. At first, Hana felt nothing. Then slowly she began to sense things. The weight of people walking past the training room. The pull of the station's rotation. The way energy moved through the floor and walls, and always she heard the whispers. They came when she was quiet, when she let her mind drift. Voices speaking in Korean, voices speaking in languages she did not know. Sometimes not words at all, just feelings. Memories that were not hers. She saw flashes of things. An old woman defending her farm from raiders with just a wooden staff. A young man on an ancient battlefield using his bare hands when his sword broke. Soldiers, farmers, mothers protecting their children. All of them Korean. All of them from Earth. All of them reaching across time to touch her now. It terrified her. Am I going insane? She asked Thal one day. No, he said. I think you are remembering. Your species has a long history of fighting without weapons, of using hands that built homes to also defend them. Perhaps that knowledge never leaves. Perhaps it lives in your blood waiting. But not everyone was supportive. Doyen, the human proctor, pulled Hana aside after a training session. 2 other human cadets stood with him. One was Minho, a pilot trainee with angry eyes. Do you know what you are doing? Minho demanded. Do you know what happens when the galaxy sees humans as dangerous? I am just training, Hana said quietly. Just training? Minho's voice rose. You are showing them abilities they never knew we had. You are painting a target on every human in space. The galaxy does not celebrate what it fears, Hana. It eliminates it. Doyen put a hand on Minho's shoulder. What he means is that we need to be careful. Humanity is still new here. We are weak. We have few allies. If you make them afraid of us, they might decide to act before we become a real threat. I am not trying to threaten anyone, Hana said. I am trying to survive. Survival means knowing when to hide your strength, Minho shot back. He walked away, leaving Hana standing with Doyen. He is scared, Doyen said softly. We all are. But he is not completely wrong. Be careful, Hana. The galaxy is watching you now. 3 weeks after her fight with Brekka, everything changed. A delegation arrived from the Krell Dominion. The Krell controlled 40 star systems and had one of the strongest militaries in known space. They came in black ships that looked like knives cutting through space. Their commander was named Velcross. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and too many joints in his arms. His eyes were black and cold. He watched Hana during her training sessions. He took recordings. He asked questions about human biology and Earth's gravity. Then he requested a formal exhibition match. I wish to see this human's abilities properly demonstrated, Velcross announced to the Institute's administration. The Krell have interest in new combat techniques. We would consider it a diplomatic courtesy. Commander Thal tried to refuse, but the Krell had power, and Station Vertex 7 needed their support. The match was scheduled for the following week. Hana's opponent would be Dractus, a Krell champion. He had fought in 20 campaigns and never lost a single combat. He was enhanced with combat implants and wielded energy claws that could cut through ship armor. You do not have to do this, Thal told Hana the night before the match. I can find a way to cancel it. No, Hana said. She was tired of being afraid. Tired of hiding. I will fight. That night she could not sleep. She sat on her bed with her eyes closed, trying to quiet the whispers that had grown louder every day. But this time, instead of fighting them, she listened. The voices swirled around her like wind. Old voices, young voices, men and women, children and elders, all speaking at once, and then clearly she heard her grandmother's voice. Do not fight them, child. Let them in. They are your family. All of humanity is your family. And we are here. Hana opened her eyes. Her hands were shaking, because she understood now what the whispers were. They were not madness. They were memory. The memory of every human who had ever fought. Every person who had ever defended their home with nothing but their body and will. Earth had not forgotten them. And through Hana, they had not forgotten Earth. The next morning, she walked into the arena. 12 systems were watching the broadcast. Thousands of cadets filled the stands. Dractus stood waiting for her, his energy claws humming with deadly power. Nothing personal, human, Dractus said. His voice was mechanical, filtered through implants. But you are about to learn why weapons exist. The signal to begin sounded. Dractus moved like lightning. His claws slashed through the air, leaving burning trails. Hana dodged, but barely. The heat from the energy weapon scorched her skin. She tried to get close, but Dractus was too fast. Too skilled. His claws came from every direction. One caught her shoulder, burning through cloth and into flesh. Hana screamed and rolled away. The crowd was cheering, betting on how long she would last. Hana got to her feet, breathing hard. Blood ran down her arm. Dractus was already moving in for another strike. And suddenly Hana was not afraid anymore. She pressed her palm against the arena floor. And this time she did not just feel the distant heartbeat of Earth. She pulled on it. She called to it. "Welcome back, Earthborn," the ground whispered, and something in the galaxy shifted. Power flowed through Hana like water through a broken dam. It came from somewhere far away, somewhere deep, and it filled her completely. She could feel Earth 60 light-years distant, pressing its presence into her bones. Dractus charged again, his energy claws aimed at her throat, but Hana was moving before he reached her, not dodging, dancing. Her feet knew where to step. Her body knew how to flow. Every movement felt right in a way nothing had ever felt right before. She slipped past his claws and touched his wrist. Just a touch, barely a tap, but Dractus's arm went limp. The energy claw flickered and died. He stared at his arm in confusion. "What did you do?" he demanded. Hana did not answer. She was listening to the whispers that were now screaming in her mind. They were telling her things, showing her things. 1,000 different ways to fight. 1,000 different techniques developed over tens of thousands of years by humans who had nothing but their hands and their will. Dractus activated his other claw and swung wildly. Hana caught his arm, and again, just a touch made his limb go numb. The nerves misfired. The implant struggled to compensate. His claw sparked and went dead. The crowd fell silent. This was not supposed to happen. Dractus was a champion. He had defeated opponents with armor and weapons, and a small human woman with bare hands was taking him apart. "Impossible," Dractus growled. He charged with both arms, trying to tackle her to use his weight. But Hana stepped to the side and placed both palms against the arena floor. The whisper came again, louder this time. "Show them what Earth remembers." Something rippled through the floor. The sensors in the arena went crazy. Gravity fluctuated wildly for just a second, and Dractus, in mid-charge, suddenly weighed twice as much as he should. His legs could not support the weight. He crashed to the ground face first, then the gravity reversed. Dractus shot upward like he had been thrown. He hit the ceiling 20 feet up and fell back down, landing in a crumpled heap. He did not get up. The arena was completely silent. Everyone stared at Hana. She stood in the center, breathing hard, her hands still pressed to the floor. Blood ran from her nose. Her eyes were wide and shocked because she had no idea how she had done that. "Winner, Cadet Hana," the automated system announced. Then the arena exploded with noise, aliens shouting in 100 languages. Some were cheering. Most were yelling in anger or fear. In the stands, Minho stood frozen with horror on his face. Doyen looked pale. Commander Thal pushed through the crowd and reached Hana first. "Can you walk?" he asked quietly. Hana nodded, though she was not sure it was true. Thal helped her out of the arena while security guards held back the crowds. Behind them, Dractus was being carried away on a medical stretcher. He would live, but his pride would not recover soon. The next few days were chaos. Galactic news networks ran stories about the human who fought with impossible abilities. Scientists argued about whether Hana had used hidden technology. Politicians demanded investigations. The Krell Dominion filed an official complaint with the Galactic Concordat, claiming Hana had used illegal planetary resonance weapons. Earth's diplomatic corps sent frantic messages. They did not understand what Hana had done. They were terrified that humanity would be labeled as a threat. The official response was careful and weak. "We are investigating this incident and will cooperate fully with all inquiries." But Hana barely noticed any of it. She was locked in her room, trying not to go insane. The whispers would not stop anymore. They came constantly, day and night. She saw things that were not there. Her grandmother kneading bread dough. The same hands that had fought off bandits when she was young. Ancient humans hunting animals 10 times their size with nothing but stones and patience. Soldiers from 100 different wars learning that sometimes the best weapon was knowing where and how to strike with an empty hand. The visions overlapped. Past and present blurred together. Sometimes Hana looked at her hands and saw her grandmother's wrinkled fingers. Sometimes she felt like she was standing on Earth even though she was on a space station. She was terrified she was losing her mind. Doyen came to check on her. He found her sitting on the floor, rocking back and forth with her hands pressed over her ears. "Make them stop," Hana whispered. "Please make them stop talking." Doyen knelt beside her. "Who is talking?" "Everyone. All of them. Everyone who came before. They are all here in my head and they will not be quiet." Doyen did not understand, but he was worried. He contacted Thal, and together they helped Hana to the medical bay. The doctors ran every scan they could think of. They found something strange. "Her bone density is increasing," one doctor reported. "Her muscle fibers are restructuring. Her entire body is adapting to carry and channel significantly more force than a human should be able to handle." "Is it dangerous?" Thal asked. "We do not know. We have never seen anything like this." While Hana recovered, Doyen started researching. He dug through old records looking for anything that might explain what was happening. What he found made his blood run cold. During humanity's first contact with alien species, there had been conflicts. Small wars. And in some of those battles, a handful of human soldiers had displayed abilities similar to Hana's. They moved faster than they should. They struck with impossible force. They seemed to know where attacks were coming from before they happened. The reports were brief and had been marked as probable sensor errors or exaggerations. But Doyen found medical files. 3 soldiers from those early wars had been studied in secret. All 3 had shown increased bone density. All 3 had reported hearing voices. All 3 had died within a year as their bodies tore themselves apart, trying to channel forces they were not built to handle. The Earth government had buried the reports. Humanity was desperate to seem peaceful, to not be seen as a threat. They could not afford to let the galaxy know that humans might have hidden combat abilities. Doyen brought the files to Thal. "This has happened before," he said. "And everyone who developed these abilities died." Thal read through the reports with growing concern. Hana's symptoms match. Her body is adapting too quickly. "If this continues, she will die," Doyen finished. "We have to stop this. Make her forfeit whatever comes next. Get her back to Earth where she can be treated." But it was already too late. That evening, Commander Velcross arrived at the medical bay with an armed escort. "I am here to make a proposal," Velcross said, his black eyes fixed on Hana. "Come work for the Krell Dominion. Teach us your techniques. We will make you wealthy beyond your dreams. You will want for nothing." "And if I refuse?" Hana asked weakly from her bed. "Then I will ensure the Galactic Concordat understands that humanity has been hiding military capabilities," Velcross said smoothly. "You will be labeled as a threat. Your people will face sanctions. Perhaps military intervention for the safety of the galaxy." "You cannot do that," Doyen protested. "I can do exactly that." Velcross smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Unless this young woman agrees to share her gifts with us, you have 3 days to decide." After Velcross left, Thal and Doyen argued about what to do. But Hana was barely listening. She was focused on the whispers that had changed tone. They were no longer just voices from the past. They were saying something specific now. "They will come for us. Not today, not tomorrow, but they will come. Will you be our voice or our silence?" That night, Hana had a dream. She stood on a plain of grass that stretched forever. The sky above was blue and perfect. She knew this place, though she had never been here. It was Earth. Ancient Earth. Earth before cities and machines. A figure walked toward her across the grass. Hana could not see the figure clearly. It kept shifting, changing. Sometimes it looked like her grandmother. Sometimes like a soldier. Sometimes like a farmer. Sometimes like all of humanity at once. "They want to make you a weapon," the figure said. "They want to take what we are and use it for themselves." "I do not want to hurt anyone," Hana said. "We know. But they are coming anyway. And if you fall, if you let them break you, then Earth loses its voice in the stars. Humanity stays silent and small and afraid. What do I do?" The figure reached out and touched Hana's forehead. Knowledge flooded into her. Understanding. Connection. "You stop running from us. You let us in completely. We are not invaders in your mind. We are you, all of us together. Every human who ever lived and died under Earth's sky. We are the strength you call on, the memory you draw from. And we will not let you fall." Hana woke up crying. But they were not tears of fear anymore. She knew what she had to do. 3 Krell warships surrounded Station Vertex 7. They hung in space like black knives, weapons charged and ready. Inside the station, alarms rang constantly. The defense fleet, made up of ships from a dozen different species, formed a thin line between the station and the Krell vessels. But everyone knew the truth. If the Krell attacked, the station would fall in minutes. Commander Velcross stood in the station's command center looking very pleased with himself. "This is unnecessary drama," he said to the assembled commanders and diplomats. "Simply hand over the human and we can all continue peacefully." "You have no authority to demand one of our cadets," Commander Thal growled. "I have 3 warships," Velcross replied. "That is all the authority I need." Arguments flew back and forth for hours. Messages were sent to the Galactic Concordat, the closest thing the galaxy had to a central government. Finally, a solution was proposed. A trial by combat. Hana would face 3 champions from different species. If she won all 3 matches, her abilities would be declared natural and humanity would be cleared of any charges of weapons development. If she lost, or if she refused to fight, Earth would face economic sanctions and military inspections. The message came from Earth within hours. It was marked urgent and came directly from the human diplomatic office. The orders were clear. Comply with all demands. Do nothing to escalate tensions. If necessary, lose gracefully. The survival of humanity is more important than one person's pride. Hana read the message 3 times. Then she deleted it. Minho found her in the training room that night. He was not alone. Doyen was with him and a 3rd human cadet named Yunji, a quiet engineering student who rarely spoke. "You are going to fight, are not you?" Minho said. It was not really a question. "Yes," Hana said simply. "Earth told you to stand down. Earth told our diplomats to stand down, but Earth itself is telling me something different." Minho looked at her like she was crazy, but Yunji stepped forward. She was small, even smaller than Hana, with glasses that kept sliding down her nose. "I have been researching," Yunji said quietly. "Looking into human history, martial arts, combat techniques. Did you know that for most of human history, we fought without weapons? Weapons were expensive, hard to make, but hands were always there, free, ready." "What is your point?" Minho asked impatiently. "My point is that maybe this is not about showing the galaxy we are dangerous," Yunji continued. "Maybe it is about showing them we are not something to fear. We are something to respect." "What is the difference?" Minho demanded. "Everything," Hana said softly. "Fear makes enemies. Respect makes allies." Doyen nodded slowly. "So you will fight. But not to prove Earth is a threat. To prove Earth is strong? Yes," Hana agreed. "And to prove that we cannot be pushed around, cannot be threatened, cannot be told to bow our heads and hope the galaxy forgets we exist." Minho was quiet for a long moment. Then he sighed. "Fine, but do not die. Because if you die, I'm going to be very angry." The trial was set for 3 days later. Hana would face 3 champions, each one meant to test different aspects of combat. The Galactic Concordat would oversee the matches. Billions across the galaxy would watch. This was no longer just about Hana. It was about what place humanity would have in the galaxy. The first champion was named Kaivar. He came from a species that could partially phase out of normal space, making themselves intangible. Physical strikes passed right through them like they were made of smoke. Kaivar had won 37 consecutive matches. He had never been touched. When Hana stepped into the arena to face him, Kaivar smiled. "I almost feel bad for you, human. But orders are orders." The match began. Kaivar immediately phased, becoming translucent and ghost-like. Hana threw a punch and her fist went straight through his body. Kaivar laughed and struck back. His fist became solid, just long enough to hit Hana hard in the ribs. She stumbled back, gasping. This happened again and again. Hana could not touch Kaivar, but he could touch her. After 5 minutes, Hana was bleeding from a dozen cuts and bruises. The crowd was silent. This looked like it would be over soon. But Hana was not trying to hit Kaivar anymore. She had closed her eyes. She was listening, feeling. The whispers in her mind were teaching her. When Kaivar phased, he did not disappear completely. His mass was still there, just shifted slightly out of normal space. And mass meant gravity. Mass meant weight. She could feel it. The subtle pull. The tiny distortion in space where Kaivar existed, half solid and half not. Kaivar phased and came at her again. But this time Hana moved before he struck. She stepped to where his solid form would be the moment he materialized to attack. Her palm met his chest exactly as he became solid again. The impact drove all the air from Kaivar's lungs. He stumbled back, shocked. "Impossible," he gasped. "You cannot predict the phase transition." "I do not predict," Hana said. "I feel." She moved forward. Now she could sense exactly when and where Kaivar would become solid. She struck him again. And again. Each hit landed precisely at the moment he was most vulnerable. Kaivar tried to escape, but there was nowhere to go. Hana could feel him no matter how he phased. The final strike was a gentle push to his forehead. Kaivar fell backward and did not get up. He was conscious but defeated. He looked at Hana with something like awe. "What are you?" he whispered. "Earthborn," Hana replied. The crowd erupted. Some cheered. Others looked frightened. Commander Velcross watched from his private box with narrowed eyes. Between matches, Hana sat in the medical room. Yunji came to check on her wounds. They were not serious, but they hurt. Yunji cleaned and bandaged them while talking softly. "I found something else in my research," Yunji said. "Old medical studies from Earth, about the human connection to magnetic fields and gravity. Scientists thought it was just for navigation. Birds have it. Some fish have it. Humans used to have it too before we relied on technology." "Used to?" Hana asked. "It is still in our genes, just dormant. Waiting for the right trigger." Yunji looked at Hana seriously. "You are not broken. You are not damaged. You are just remembering what we forgot." Before Hana could respond, alarms started blaring. Medical equipment began beeping frantically. Doctors rushed over with scanning devices. "What is happening?" Hana asked. "Your bone density," a doctor said, staring at the scans. "It is increasing again. Rapidly, your body mass is going up. If this continues, you will be too heavy to move. Your own weight will crush you." Thal arrived minutes later. He looked at the scans and his rocky face somehow managed to show concern. "How long does she have?" "Days, maybe less. Her body is adapting too fast, trying to become dense enough to channel the forces she is using. But the human body was not built for this." "Can you stop it?" Thal asked. "No, only she can stop it. By stopping what she is doing." Everyone looked at Hana. She had 2 more matches to fight. The next one was tomorrow. If she continued, her body might literally tear itself apart. "I will fight," Hana said. "You will die," the doctor said bluntly. "Maybe. But if I stop now, the Krell win. Earth becomes a target. Every human in space becomes a target. I would rather die fighting than live knowing I could have done something and chose not to." That night, alone in her room, Hana sat on the floor and reached out with her mind across the vast distance to Earth. She could feel it now, always present at the edge of her awareness, that pull, that connection. "I do not know if I can survive this," she whispered to the empty room, to Earth, to all the humans who came before. And the whispers answered, clearer than they had ever been. "You do not fight alone. You never did. We are with you, all of us. Every human who ever looked at the stars and dreamed of touching them. You carry us all, and we will carry you." Hana felt tears on her face, but she was smiling, because she finally understood. The weight she carried was not a burden. It was strength. The voices were not madness. They were family, all of humanity, past and present, standing with her. She slept peacefully that night for the first time in weeks. The next morning, she walked into the arena to face the second champion. This one was different. It was not alive at all. It was a machine called Nexus 7, an AI combat system that had calculated the optimal response to every known combat technique. It had never lost because it could not be surprised, but Hana was no longer fighting with technique. She was fighting with something older, something that could not be predicted or calculated. She was fighting with the memory of Earth itself. Nexus 7 stood in the center of the arena like a monument to perfect engineering. It was humanoid in shape but clearly not human. Metal and light circuits and sensors. Its body moved with mechanical precision, every gesture calculated for maximum efficiency. Its eyes were cameras that saw in spectrums humans could not imagine. "Beginning combat assessment," Nexus 7 announced in a voice that had no emotion. "Human opponent identified. Scanning combat patterns, calculating optimal response strategies." The match began. Nexus 7 moved instantly, faster than Hana could follow with her eyes. Its fist came toward her face. She tried to dodge, but the machine had already calculated where she would move. The blow caught her shoulder and spun her around. She barely kept her feet. Probability of human victory 3%, Nexus 7 stated. Recommendation: surrender to minimize injury. Hana said nothing. She watched the machine circle her. Every movement was perfect. No wasted energy. No mistakes. She tried to attack, but Nexus 7 blocked her strike before she finished the motion. It countered with a sweep that knocked her legs out from under her. She hit the ground hard. The crowd was silent. This was not going well. Hana got up, but her body felt wrong. Heavy. Too heavy. Her bones ached with a deep pain that made her want to scream. The doctors had been right. Her body was changing too fast. She could feel her own weight increasing with each second. Nexus 7 attacked again. Its movements were a blur of calculated strikes. Hana blocked some, but others got through. One kick caught her ribs where Kivar had hit her the day before. The pain was blinding. Another strike opened a cut above her eye. Blood ran down her face. Probability of human victory 1%, Nexus 7 updated. Severe injury likely within next 45 seconds. Recommendation: immediate surrender. Hana stumbled back, breathing hard. Everything hurt. Her body was failing. The whispers in her mind were screaming now. But she could not understand what they were saying. The pain was too loud. Nexus 7 came at her again, this time for the final blow. A strike calculated to render her unconscious without permanent damage. Efficient, clean, perfect. And Hana stopped thinking. That was the key. She realized it in that instant. Nexus 7 calculated based on pattern and technique. It predicted based on training and logic. But what if there was no pattern? What if there was no logic? What if she stopped being a trained fighter and became something else? She became instinct. She became the memory of humans who fought not with technique, but with desperation and will. Farmers defending their families. Mothers protecting their children. People who never trained a day in their lives but fought anyway because they had to. Hana moved without thought. Her body knew what to do. When Nexus 7 struck, she was not where the calculations said she should be. When she attacked, it was not with proper form. Her movements were wild, chaotic, impossible to predict because she did not know what she would do next. Her palm found Nexus 7's chest plate. She pushed and something inside her cracked open. Power flooded through her, the kind of power that should have killed her. The weight of Earth itself, focused into a single point. Nexus 7's chest caved in. Metal screamed. Circuits exploded. The machine flew backward and crashed into the arena wall hard enough to leave a crater. Hana fell to her knees. Blood ran from her nose, from her ears. Her hands were shaking so badly she could not hold them still. But Nexus 7 did not get up. Its systems were offline. Its calculations had failed. Winner, Cadet Hana, the automated system announced. Hana barely heard it. She was focused on staying conscious, on breathing, on not dying right there in front of billions of watching eyes. Medical teams rushed to her. They carried her out of the arena on a stretcher while the crowd roared. Some cheered her name. Others shouted that the fight was rigged, that no organic being could damage military-grade combat AI with bare hands. In the medical bay, the doctors worked frantically. The scans showed things that should not be possible. Hana's bone density was now 3 times normal human levels. Her muscles were so dense they were beginning to compress her internal organs. Her heart was struggling to pump blood through a body that was becoming stone. She is dying, one doctor said quietly to Thal and Doyen. Her body cannot sustain this. If she fights again, she will die in the arena. Thal looked at Hana through the window of the medical room. She was unconscious, tubes and monitors attached to her. Can you stop the process? No. Her body is locked into this transformation. The only thing that might save her is returning to Earth. The planet's gravity might stabilize what is happening. But she has one match left, and Commander Velcross has made it clear he will not accept a forfeit. Doyen slammed his fist against the wall. This is murder. They are killing her legally and calling it a trial. Yes, Thal agreed. But if she forfeits or dies, Velcross has already made arrangements. The Krell will demand her body for study. They believe they can extract her connection to Earth and replicate it. They will dissect her looking for the secret. Then we refuse, Doyen said. We take her and run. And the Krell warships will fire on the station. Thousands will die. Thal's voice was heavy. I know this is wrong, but I do not see a way out. While they talked, Yunji was in the records room digging through files with desperate intensity. She had been researching for days, following a theory. And finally, she found it. She ran to the medical bay, bursting through the door with a tablet in her hands. "I found it," she gasped. "I found what is happening to her." She showed them files. Old files from Earth's history. Medical studies from hundreds of years ago. Humans used to be able to sense Earth's magnetic field. We used it for navigation, for knowing direction. It was called magnetoreception. Scientists thought we lost it, but we did not. It is still in our genes, still in our brains, just dormant. "We know this already," Doyen said impatiently. "But you do not know this," Yunji said, pulling up more files. "Some humans never lost it completely. Throughout history, there were people who could sense things others could not. They called them sensitive. In Korea, they were called mudang in some contexts. People who could feel the earth, feel energy. They were rare, but they existed." She pulled up genetic records. Hana's DNA shows markers for extreme sensitivity to electromagnetic and gravitational fields. It is why she can feel Earth from here, why she can manipulate gravity. Her body is not breaking. It is adapting, trying to become a living antenna for Earth's gravitational field. Then why is it killing her? Thal asked. Because she is fighting it, trying to stay human. But she is not human anymore. Not entirely. She is becoming something new. Something that can exist between Earth and the stars. They all looked at the unconscious woman behind the glass. Hana looked small and broken, barely breathing. "Can she survive the transformation?" Doyen asked quietly. "I do not know," Yunji admitted. "Nobody has ever tried. But I know if she keeps fighting what she is becoming, she will die. She has to accept it, embrace it, become what Earth needs her to be." That night, Hana woke up. Her body was on fire with pain, but her mind was clear, clearer than it had been in weeks. The whispers were not whispers anymore. They were a choir, millions of voices all speaking together. She sat up, pulling tubes and wires from her body. Alarms started beeping. Doctors rushed in, but Hana held up her hand and they stopped, frozen by something in her eyes. "I understand now," Hana said softly. "I have been fighting this. Scared of what I am becoming. But you cannot fight gravity. You can only accept it, flow with it, become it." She stood up. Her body should have been too heavy to move, but it was not. She felt strong, solid, grounded in a way she had never felt before. "I am ready for the third match," she said. "You will die," a doctor protested. "Maybe," Hana agreed. "But if I do, I will die as something new, something the galaxy has never seen before. I will die as Earthborn." The next morning, she walked into the arena for the final time. The stands were packed. Every species in the galaxy was watching. This was no longer just a trial. It was a message about what humanity was, about what they could become. Her opponent was waiting, Grandmaster Yulthan, an ancient warrior of the Quellan species. 300 years old, his body was long and serpentine, covered in scales that shimmered like oil on water. In his hands he held an energy blade that hummed with barely contained power. Yulthan looked at Hana and saw something that made his old eyes widen. "You are different now," he said softly. "You have accepted your path." "Yes," Hana said simply. "Good." Yulthan nodded. "Then this will be a true fight. Not a murder. Not an execution. A true meeting of warriors." He bowed deeply. "You fight for your people. So once did I. Let us see whose people dreamed more fiercely." The signal sounded. The final match began, and the ground beneath Hana's feet began to crack.